Hi, I'm Rose. Thank you for joining me. This is a very simple in-bed yoga practice, even though I'm at a yoga studio doing this on the floor. Imagine yourself doing it in bed, or you could do it on the floor at home if you can get there. Purpose of this practice is for those of us that struggle to get out of bed in the morning, that may need to build a little bit of energy to help wake ourselves up so that we can get out of bed. This is for people with mobility issues, maybe chronic pain issues, whatever you're going through. Maybe you just want to do yoga in bed, which is totally fine. We all have that option. Feel free to do as much or as little of this practice as you would like. Do this as often as you want. What you'll need for this practice, maybe, maybe not. I've got a blanket here, so maybe you're using a cushion, and I've also got a yoga strap here. Feel free to use a bathrobe tie or a belt or a sock. You could even use a pair of pants in place of this. This is, again, just to lengthen your arms, so to speak, because some of you may not be able to reach anything. As long as you're breathing, that's the most important rule of this practice. It's my number one rule for yoga. Always be breathing. As long as you're breathing, you are doing yoga. So let's get started. So on the back, I've got the cushion for underneath my head. You may have a pillow for underneath your head since you're in bed. You might also have that cushion underneath your low back, especially if you've got low back issues. Putting a cushion or a blanket underneath the low back changes everything. So we'll start as though we're waking up, rolling onto the back and bending the knees to bring the feet flat. Start by taking some deeper breaths. You can begin those deeper breaths by squeezing the belly button towards the spine to squeeze the breath out of the body. And then relax the abdomen to inhale and fill. It's a nice, simple, easy breath in and out. And as you're breathing, take a moment to focus your attention, your mind, on something that you would like more of. An intention. Maybe you want more mobility. Maybe you want more freedom. Maybe you want a deeper breath. Maybe you want more ease in your life. Focus on something you can grow and build, not what you want less of, but the opposite, something you can make bigger, something you can enhance. And as you're breathing here, imagine it as though it's true and already happening. We'll take 2 more breaths, pretending that this intention is true, happening, fully manifested in your life. And then on your next exhale, start to wiggle your toes and fingers a little bit. Eyes can be soft. If you're someone that really struggles with energy, you struggle with rumination, it might help you to have your eyes open and gazing at the ceiling. If you were going to do this practice frequently, you might even put a pleasing picture on your ceiling to look at, or have somebody put one up there, so that the view you're looking at lifts your heart and mind a little bit. So let's take our feet a little bit wider apart, release the arms, and it's a simple windshield wiper of the legs. Exhaling as the knees move to the right. Inhaling through center, exhaling as the knees move to the left. You might just be a swaying of the knees. Some of you may be able to go a little deeper. It's your choice. If you have pillows on either side of you, you can drop the knees down to rest on the pillow if that's okay for your back. So that means you could stack the knees up on top of each other and then go to the other side, stacking if you wish. Making sure you've done both sides evenly before you come back to center. And then at center, we'll take the right leg in towards the abdomen. We start with the right leg because that's where your ascending colon is, and we want to move everything in the colon out. So we start with the right side. You can bring your hands to wrap and interlace around the front of the knee. You can bring your hands behind the knee. If you're struggling there even, this is where your strap comes in handy and you can hold the strap. We can start real simple here, drawing the knee in towards the chest, keeping the other leg bent, the foot on the surface of the bed. Exhale, drawing the knee in, and then inhale, big breath in to soften. Now, it might be as simple as this. You can go a little bit deeper with this practice by drawing the knee in and pressing the knee into the hands. You'll feel all kinds of muscles awaken in and around the hip joint. And then we inhale, soften. And we exhale, squeeze and press. Now we're going to do this 3 more times, but we'll add the sound of O. O. We're releasing through that root chakra, releasing anything that keeps us from feeling grounded. One more time. If you're interlacing your hands around the knee, slide them behind the knee. You can also use the strap behind the leg. And we'll inhale here and then exhale. Start to lengthen the leg up. Inhale to bend the knee, exhale to lengthen. You can be at any level of this. So if you're feeling rather inflexible or the backs of your legs are tight, maybe it's just a tiny, small movement. Your choice. Make sure you're not pressing through the back of the knee so we're not hyperextending the knee. Exhale to lengthen. Inhale to bend and soften. Now we're going to release through the whole back of the right leg using the long drawn out sound of ooh, as in ooh, that feels good. So we'll inhale, bend the knee, exhale, ooh, lengthen that leg, inhale, bend, 2 more times like that. Ooh. Ooh. Keep the leg long here for 3 breaths as we flex and point, circle the ankle in one direction, then the other direction. And then bend that knee again, and let's do some very simple circling of the knee We're moving the hip a little bit here, as tiny or as big as you'd like. Breathe however feels most natural for you here. Circles can become bigger. Keep going that same direction. Relax your jaw a little bit. And then circle the other direction. You might hear pops and crackles, galumps in that joint. It might not even feel like a circle. It could feel like an oval. That's okay. And then the last bit, make figure eights or infinity symbols with the knee. Or waking up strength in this hip joint. Or waking up mobility in this hip joint. And then figure eight the other direction. As confusing as it is, figure eight the other direction. And then come back to center. Release that foot down. Pausing here to feel that right hip, that right knee, the right foot. Feeling it more awake. You could probably also feel the left leg going, what about me? What about me? So let's exhale and bring that left knee in. Again, interlacing fingers around the knee, behind the knee, or using the strap to support you here. We'll inhale, and then on the exhale, start to draw the knee in. Inhale, soften. Exhale, draw the knee in. We can keep it simple like that, or if you'd like, start to press the knee into your hands while you resist with your hands. Inhale, soften. Exhale, squeeze and press. And again, let's do 3 rounds of that releasing sound of O. Inhale. O. Again. Oh. One more time. Oh. And then taking your hands, and you can interlace them behind the thigh, or you can bring the strap behind the thigh. Your choice here. We inhale with the knee bent, and then exhale, start to lengthen the leg. Inhale to bend, exhale to lengthen. Remember, you can lengthen through that leg, pressing through the heel, as much as your body is capable of today. If you did this every morning, you would notice a difference. It's not that this magically opens us, it's that repeated practice helps. And let's use that releasing sound of ooh here. So we'll inhale, bend. Ooh, to lengthen. Awesome. Let's do that 2 more times. Ooh, inviting that sound to release through the back of the leg. Ooh, and then keep your leg lifted and point and flex. That ooh sounds technically for the hip and the second chakra, but I like it for the legs too. The ooh to release, it feels good. And then circle the ankle, and then the other direction. Release your hands, Bend your knee, and let's start with those circles. Again, as small or as big as you'd like. Remember, your breath can move in whatever pattern most serves you here. Don't go to the point where this hurts. It should feel comfortable for your hip and knee joint. And then let's circle the other direction. Keep circling. And then figure eights, or that infinity symbol. And then go the other direction, which is always the hardest. We're waking up the synovial fluid in the hip joint and the knee joint. Going to help that hip joint move and work with more ease. And then bring that leg back to center and release the foot down. Take a big breath in. Let it go. Feel both feet more awake. Feel your breath maybe feeling bigger. And then let's not forget the hands. We'll lift the hands up and circle the wrists, wiggling the fingers. As you circle your wrists the other direction, if it supports you, take your arms overhead. Circle the other direction. So opening those armpits, good for our mental health to open our armpits. And then release. And then from here, you can roll to one side. Pause for a moment. Thank yourself for taking a little time for yourself. And then as you're ready, if you're ready, press yourself up. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me, for inviting me into your space for a little bit of practice. I'd like to invite you to remember that 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of yoga a day is so much better than an hour of yoga a week. Repeated practice makes the difference. So thank you, and I will